Hello and welcome back to an episode of Generation Ochi. My name is American Ben, and today we are going to break down the counters from the Uncanny Counter. A lot of channels have compiled clips already of all the different counter abilities, but I don't see anyone really taking the time to explain them. And sometimes in life, destiny is destiny. Our fates are not always as we'd like them, but alas, we must fulfill our call to duty. For instance, there's a chocolate chip cookie waiting for me after I shoot this video, and do I want to eat it? No. I don't want to delve into that oleo of phantasmagorical chocolate chippy delight, but I have to. It's my calling, and so I'm gonna do it. Not for me, but for you all. But I sure as hell do love the Uncanny Counter, and if you've seen our review video on it, then you know why. I have a complicated relationship with the show, but yeah, I love it. First, I have to, as always, give a quick refresher of what the show is all about for those who are watching this video before seeing the show. Also, spoiler alert, though I won't reveal major plot points unless I absolutely have to. Anyway, the plot of the Uncanny Counter follows a bunch of demon hunters called Counters in the fictional South Korean city of Jungjin who are tasked by higher powers with fighting powerful evil spirits who are able to break free from the afterlife and stay in the real world only by possessing compatible humans. The Counters are endowed with various special abilities that aid them in doing so. The Counters are also partnered with spirits who reside simultaneously within them and in a special boundary between the real world and the afterlife known as Young. The story of the show begins when one of the Counters is killed and his young partner leaves his body and enters our main character, So-mun, which is an irregular possession as the norm is for Counters to inhabit comatose bodies. The show then follows Mun and the rest of the Counters as they seek to rid the world of evil spirits and uncover the mysteries of their own pasts. Now to start, who are the Counters? Well, according to the show, there are 5 Counters across the country, 4 of whom make up the active participants of the Counter team in Jungjin. First, we have the newest member, So-mun, a high school student whose parents perished in a mysterious car crash when he was just a boy. Mun is partnered in Young with Wee-gen, the leader of the Young members, which sounds kind of like a rap group. Then we have Ga-mo-tak, a former police officer who can't remember his past. Mo-tak is partnered in Young with the uptight but well-meaning Kim Gi-ran, whose heel game is fire. Then there's Do-hana, who I prefer to just call Business because that's all she's about come game time. Hana is haunted by the deaths of her parents and sister as they were poisoned to death when she was young. She's partnered in Young with Woo-sik, a precocious and mature little boy. Then there's Chu Maeok, or Mrs. Chu, the head chef at Ioni's Noodles, a former photographer, and a motherly figure who is partnered in Young with Kwon Soo-ho, her deceased biological son. Finally, there's Choi Jong-mul, the leader of the Counters in Korea and the owner of a major retail company. Jong-mul is a retired Counter, and though he maintains his powers, he mostly just shows up to help the active Counters out with funding and resources. He's a platonic sugar daddy, if you will, though given some of his encounters with Mrs. Chu, I'm not so sure about that platonic part. So now let's quickly talk about Young specifically and how it works. As we said before, it's a region that bulwarks the afterlife from the real world. When a would-be Counter connects with a Young spirit, they can then travel to Young and meet with this partner as well as with other Young spirits. The emotions and actions of the Counters also seem to be able to affect their partners in Young, as we see when So-mun's rage becomes unrestrained. So-mun, who possesses more than a few extra special abilities, also appears to be able to pull his Young spirit to him from the Young realm. However, for the most part, it seems like it's the Young spirits who seem to be the really powerful entities. Wee-gen seems to have pretty arbitrary unilateral power to condemn evil spirits to the eternal prison, where they then basically take an eternal mud bath with cannibals. Counters themselves can die, as they're warned when they're first inducted as Counters.
우리가 보통의 인간이 갖고 있지 않은 큰 힘을 주긴 하지만 일을 하다 죽을 수도 있고 다치는 건 일상이고.
And when Counters die, their Young partners also experience some sort of simultaneous secondary death in Young, which involves their evaporation into the afterlife. The spirits in Young also oversee that Counters follow the rules that all Counters are required to follow. There are 3 rules. The first is Counters cannot use their powers for revenge. The second is that Counters cannot meddle in human affairs. And the third and final rule is that Counters cannot tell anyone that they are a Counter. If Counters break these rules, they could be brought to trial in Young court, and if found guilty, could have their powers and roles as Counters stripped from them. Now let's move on to breaking down the Counters back in the real world. The most important part of being a Counter is low-key the sleek and totally not lame red jumpsuit, which I badly want. So who's gonna get me the suit? We're not continuing this video until someone commits to buying me one of those super sleek red jumpsuits. Just kidding, I'll move on. Please don't tune out. Anyway, this jumpsuit just serves to turn the counters from average demon hunters into Super Saiyan eye candy. But it's their special abilities which affords them the power to battle evil spirits. When counters first get inducted into the counterhood, to coin a term, small dots appear on the fingers of their right hand. These dots together act as a door to the afterlife and allow the counters to exorcise evil spirits from their human hosts and send them on to the other realm. Counters also have healing abilities, which is Mrs. Chu's specialty. Thanks to this power, So-mun no longer needs a cane to walk. However, healing grievous wounds ages Mrs. Chu, and so she has to use this power sparingly. Mrs. Chu is also the go-to counter for erasing memories, a power which also puts targets to sleep. Counters can also run at superhuman speed, which is great because at times they seem to prefer running in emergency situations, even though they have a car. Counters can also jump much higher than normal humans and have superhuman strength, though they aren't automatically endowed with combat expertise, and so they do need to train constantly. I want to say that Motak is the best fighter, but I mean, Hana is not too far behind. Counters have even more mystical powers as well. They can sense evil spirits within a limited radius of a few kilometers, though this is Hana's specialty as she can sense evil spirits hundreds of kilometers away. Counters can also read other people's memories by touching them, an ability known as psychometry. Most counters can see just a few seconds of someone's memories, but again, Hana has special abilities in this regard as she can scan years worth of memories and apparently even psychically enter memories. Yeah, I'd go back and enter some memories if I could, just to get rid of some demons. 7th grade, for instance, football player put me in a trash can, but why did I stay in the trash can so long after he left? Sorry, I digress. Mun also seems to have a proclivity for psychic power, and spoiler alert, he eventually proves capable of telekinesis or the ability to move objects with his mind. Overall, when it comes to counters, they're about 3 times stronger than normal people, but there's variation from counter to counter based on natural predispositions and how hard one trains. Counter abilities also increase 5-fold when their territories shift. These so-called territories arise when energies of the divine realm merge into the human realm and manifest in rainbow ways of light, which make me crave for roll-ups. And a territory shift refers to when these territories shift closer to the counters or around them. Evil spirits can also easily be sensed by counters when they enter their territory. However, only counters can see this territory as it emanates from young. Territory shifts usually last for only a few seconds, but have been known to last for up to an hour on rare occasion. Territory shifts are unpredictable, however perhaps not as much as once thought, as Mun has proven able to manipulate the territories, something he first did through anger, but later through his desire to help others. Finally, with the help of Young, counters also have a special power they can use in dire circumstances. Their young partners can provide them with totally legit looking magical staffs made from birch trees planted by the first young people. Counters can use these staffs to raise what's known as a barrier, which traps souls inside and makes them weak and unable to use their psychokinetic powers. However, the barrier causes the counters to be unable to use their spiritual powers as well. And the counters holding the barrier up with the staffs can't move and are drained of their energy quickly. For a counter to use his power inside the barrier, he needs territory. Anyway, that's our breakdown of the counters from the Uncanny Counter. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. Remember to comment down below, say something. Subscribe to this channel. We need you on board. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss a damn thing. For now, my name is American Ben. Congo's somewhere. I'll catch you next time. Generation Ochi, peace.